Microsoft Teams is a powerful collaboration tool. Most businesses are using it for instant messaging and video meetings, but it does so much more than that. I'm going to show you 5 things that you probably didn't know about to help you and your team collaborate more effectively using Microsoft Teams. My name is Matt and I run a company called Labyrinth Technology. We help empower businesses with their IT and cybersecurity. You can find a link to my LinkedIn profile in the video description. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to add free applications that you are already paying for to a Microsoft team. So if you click on the Microsoft team that you'd like to add the app to, and you should see a little plus icon at the top to add a new tab. If you don't see that, then you may not have the right level of access. So you either need to speak to the team owner, if you know who that is, or speak to your IT administrator. So click on the plus icon to add a new tab. And you will see at the top here some of the more common Microsoft apps that you can add. You can search at the top here if you don't see what you're looking for. And you'll notice there's a whole load of popular third-party Microsoft Teams apps here. So things like Monday.com, Jira Cloud, that could be really helpful, especially if you're a development team using Jira. But we are going to add the Microsoft Planner app. If I click See All there, I'll also see a lot more of the Microsoft 365 apps there, like PowerPoint, SharePoint lists, websites, Microsoft Power Apps, etc. Let's click on Planner to add a new Microsoft Planner tab, because we're going to dive into this one a bit more in a bit more detail later in the video. So I can just select use an existing plan for this team, or I can create a new plan, and let's call that YouTube project. So everything I'm going to show you today, we're going to imagine that we're all working on a project together to create a YouTube video. So YouTube project, and at the bottom here, you'll see a tick box that says post to this channel about the tab. If I leave that ticked, it's going to immediately send a notification that looks as if I have said it, saying, hey everyone, check out this new tab that I have added at the top. So if I don't want to do that for whatever reason, or it's not quite set up yet, maybe if I'm setting up this planner and it's a brand new one, I don't really want everyone checking it out when there's nothing on there yet, then I can untick that. Otherwise, don't be shy. It's really helpful to let everyone know that you have set that app up. So I'm going to untick that because I'm still setting this up, and I'm going to hit save. So that's created my YouTube project tab at the top here. Now, looking at these tabs, seeing YouTube project there is not really that helpful to everybody. I mean, let's say this this team's called Service Delivery Demo, but let's say it was called YouTube Project. I can just rename that by clicking rename the tab, by clicking the drop down and then clicking rename. And this is only changing the name of the tab. It's not changing the name of the Microsoft Planner board. So let's call this project tasks. There we go, nice and easy for everyone to understand what that is. And then within Microsoft Planner, you get these kind of different buckets, and you can interact with those within this window. So we'll dive into that a little bit more later on. But going back to adding apps, if you don't see an app that you are expecting to see, it's possible that it's not kind of integrated into the App Store yet. But a lot of vendors do have the option for you to download a Teams app from their website and upload it and integrate it into your organization. Usually that's fairly straightforward, but generally that's something that your IT administrator will need to do. So as an example, we're using Halo PSA as a help desk system, and within a couple of minutes I was able to download their Microsoft Teams app and upload it into our Microsoft Teams Microsoft 365 environment and start using it. But that app, before I'd set it up, was not showing in this app store. So if you see something you're missing, have a chat with the vendor that you're working with and see, do you have a Microsoft Teams app? The next thing I want to show you is workflows. In a world where AI and automation is moving incredibly fast, you don't want to be left behind by not working smart. So let's click on the team chat here and click on the three dots and click workflows. And that's going to give us a load of pre-built workflows that you don't really need to be very technical to understand or set up. We've also got this workflow builder button here that does allow you to build out a more complex custom workflow using Microsoft Power Apps, which is another tool that you can use a lot of the functionality of without buying an additional license. But I'm going to set up something super basic here and just set up a notification. But there's really so many other things that you can do, integrations with third-party products, setting up tasks in third-party products, all kinds of integration and automation tasks. This is a great one. When I upload a video on my YouTube, post a message on Microsoft Teams. So let's say you have a company YouTube channel, and every time you're posting a video, you're sending it to your team and saying, hey everyone, please check out this video, please like it, please share it with your friends. Well, I could automate that step and just say, when I upload a video, I want it to automatically notify everyone in the company. So just another example, but in this case, we're going to imagine for the purposes of this project that we've got a SharePoint list, and that SharePoint list is a place for people, the rest of the company, to submit requests relating to that project. So maybe we've got, as part of this YouTube team, marketing team, content creation team, maybe we've got a SharePoint list set up where people can request or suggest certain YouTube videos that we're going to create. So I'm going to say notify a channel when SharePoint list items are modified. Click on that. Now at the top we can see there's a name option to edit the name of that task. You do not want to just leave that as the default name, because when you come back to edit this in future, you may not know what list that is referring to or the purpose of this workflow, or you may want to add more workflows notifying you about changes to different SharePoint lists. So let's call that notify team when new YouTube video request comes in. Okay, let's click next. And then we would search for the SharePoint site where the list is saved and click on it, and you'll see a list of SharePoint lists or document libraries. So if you wanted, anytime a file was created in a particular document library or modified to get a notification, you could do. But you want to be a bit careful with that because you don't want the team to be getting overwhelmed with notifications. There is something called alert fatigue. And if you're sending too many different alerts to people, they just won't read them. They'll just start ignoring them. So you do need to be a bit careful with this. But let's search for projects. There we go. And oh, that's actually the wrong one. I can actually just search at the top here. Project pipeline, and there we go. That's going to send a notification to the service delivery demo team that I'm in, and click add workflow. Okay, so that's been set up. If I want to go modify my workflows, I can click the three dots here and click on workflows, and then click on manage, and that's going to show me a list of workflows that are already set up. Not just in this particular team, but any other workflows that I'm managing, that I'm the owner or co-owner of. So yeah, if I wanted to turn this off or delete it, I can toggle on or off there, or I can click the three dots here to delete it, or I can edit it, and that is going to bring up the Microsoft Power Apps editor, which does allow me to really be able to customize this workflow. If I'm familiar with Power Apps, or I'm feeling a bit confident, and I'm happy to get stuck in and have a good go at this. So I can click new steps here, and or edit some of the existing steps, and to keep that workflow going, add all kinds of other things. So if I go back to that team, here's an example I did earlier. So I set up the exact same workflow that I've just demonstrated, and I've gone and added a new item to the SharePoint list, and straight away it's created a notification message here. and it has given me the option to view the item, so the team don't need to go and find that SharePoint list, trying to remember where it was saved. They can just click the link to view that updated SharePoint list item. Going back to Microsoft Planner, using Microsoft Planner in Teams is a really effective way to get your team organized, especially if you're working on a project. So if you're a project manager or a team manager, this is a really useful tool for you to organize your team and your projects. Now, Microsoft Planner is again included with most Microsoft 365 licenses. So let's go back to the project tasks tab that we set up at the top earlier, and you can create these different buckets to organize or group your tasks together. So there's no real right or wrong way to do this. You can have a to-do bucket. We could have a triage bucket for things that haven't yet been assigned. We could call this in progress. We wouldn't really need a completed one because you can tick things off when they've been completed and they disappear from view depending on the filters that you've got set. Or I can group this in a completely different way, and maybe as part of my YouTube project, I want the one for the script. Maybe there's a whole load of actions there for the script. No, we don't actually script our videos. And then maybe we've got one for the production tasks. Maybe we've got one for filming, and that actually would come before production, so I can drag and drop those buckets around. Now I can just click add task to create a new task. So right, the script, there we go. And if I click on that, I can prioritize it. So maybe that's really urgent because the project can't get going until someone has written that script. So let's set that to important or urgent. Progress, it's already been started. Let's assign that to myself. Let's set the start date as now, the due date as tomorrow. Now, if this was a repeating task, maybe you've got a weekly team meeting relating to this project, you can configure that card to effectively recreate itself every week, every month, or a custom time frame. And then you can just tick them off as you've completed them, as part of that schedule. The notes here, so you can add some more details as to what I actually want. So create a video script on cyber security best practices. And then I can also add a checklist below there. So we can say create the script, present it to the team, and get final sign off. There we go. Now I can't show both of these on the card in terms of looking at it from the kind of single pane of glass here. I can either show the notes, so I can the checkbox at the top here, or I can show the checklist below there. I can't do both, or I can just show neither of them if I don't want either of them to appear there. But for me, I find it really useful to be able to see what tasks are actually left to do there. So I'm going to show that one. I can also add attachments here, so I can upload a file from my computer. I can add a file that's already saved in this team, or maybe the file's saved somewhere in SharePoint or on a website, and rather than duplicating that information, I can click add a link to the URL, and I can copy and paste my URL there, so maybe the link to the file from SharePoint, and anything else that might be relevant there. So if I'm writing a script, it's going to be helpful to add a link to the script on this planner item. Comments you can use to comment or update people on your progress, or really anything. This is a team collaboration tool after all. So maybe other people comment with some ideas. Why don't you add this to the script? Or looked at your script, that was great. Anything like that. And let's say I've created this in the wrong bucket. You can just drag and drop those between different buckets. I can tick off the checklist items from here without clicking into the card, or I can just mark the whole thing as complete there, and that's going to disappear away into completed tasks at the bottom there. So really easy to use, really straightforward way of tracking your team tasks and delegating tasks to people. You can also use, there's a few other options at the top here. So we've got schedule. So if you have scheduled different tasks in to start and finish at different times there. I can see the project overall timeline. So we've only got one task in here at the moment, but if I had a whole load of them, I'd be able to look at that timeline either on a week or monthly view. And going back to the board here, we've also got filters, so we can filter out, and maybe I only want to show things that are assigned to me or another member of the team. Maybe I still want to be able to see the completed tasks there, or I just want to see the urgent ones at the moment. Maybe we're overwhelmed with tasks and saying, right guys, let's just focus on the urgent ones. But yeah, group by bucket is also a useful one. We can, rather than grouping by bucket, I can change that to group by assigned to, and just see who's got what left to do. Oh, hang on, we've given 50 tasks to John Smith, but Matt has only got one task. Let's redistribute those tasks. So really powerful team collaboration tool. In terms of files relating to your project or your team, you'll notice in every single Microsoft team that's created, by default, we've got this Files tab at the top here. So where do those files actually go? Well, you may not know this, but every Microsoft team has a SharePoint site that is linked to it. That SharePoint site is used to house all of the files and data for that Microsoft team. Now, if you're not using Microsoft SharePoint, or you haven't added that SharePoint site to a particular hub, that SharePoint site is probably sat dormant. No one's really going on to the actual site, but this team, this Microsoft team, is interacting with it on a regular basis. Any files and messages are actually saved on that SharePoint site. So let's bring that SharePoint site up. So I can see here we've got this documents library, which is there by default. And every channel that we've got, so a channel is kind of a different communication thread under a team here. So we've got service delivery demo here and team chat. So maybe you've created a different channel for each project that you're working on. So this one might be YouTube videos, which is kind of a recurring project stream, or we might have a team chat. We might have some for different projects, but those will all have a folder here where all of the files will sit. So that team chat here, I'm looking at YouTube video plan there, and I'm looking at exactly the same file there. So to add files within Microsoft Teams, you can just drag and drop them into this window. So if you've got an attached file from Outlook, maybe someone's just emailed you, maybe you've hired someone to write the script for your video and they've just emailed it to you, you can just drag that attachment into this window, and it will upload it to SharePoint, and it's also going to be saved here within Microsoft Teams, because they're looking at the same place. This isn't synchronization. This Microsoft Teams is just looking at data that's already saved in SharePoint. So you upload a file into here, and that's effectively uploading it to Microsoft SharePoint. If you don't want to drag and drop, you can also click New, Word document, PowerPoint presentation, etc., and create the file within here. And that is going to do it in the, so let's click on Word document, give it a name, video script, data security video. Let's click create. Okay, right, so my organization requires sensitivity labels, so let's add our sensitivity label. And you'll notice here, because I've got a Microsoft Copilot license, that I can use Copilot to draft content even within Microsoft Teams here. So I'm going to ask it to draft me a script for a YouTube data security video. Oh, and press generate, and that's going to create my script straight into the document here. So Copilot, incredibly powerful tool. Not going to talk about it in this video, but if you are interested, we do have another video covering Microsoft Copilot, and we do have an upcoming webinar on Microsoft Copilot. So yeah, do check out the links in my video description. So that's created my script. There we go. So I can edit this. This editor is the same as the Microsoft 365 web app, which do have some limitations, and the layout can come out differently to the Microsoft desktop apps. So now that you've created this, or looking at the file that we had in here earlier, if you don't want to use this kind of integrated editor for the file and you want to open it in the desktop app, you can click the three dots here and click open and open an app That's going to bring the video up in your Microsoft Office desktop app. It's not going to download the file, it's not going to duplicate it, it's still opening it straight from SharePoint. It's just opening it in your Microsoft Office desktop application. And you'll see there on those three dots, there's a whole load of other options. You can download the file, you can delete it, you can move it, you can copy it, all kinds of things you can do there. I can make it a tab if it's a really important file and people are going to be looking at it every day. Maybe it's my project plan and I want to make that a tab, then you can click make this a tab. So yeah, all kinds of things that you can do there with your files, but it can be really useful just to be able to click into this without having to go and find it somewhere else in SharePoint and have a browse. Maybe I've asked everyone to check out the script that I've just created. I can just send a post in here and say, hey everyone, check out the script in the Files tab, or I can just get a link, make it a bit even easier for them. Just click the three dots there, copy link. There we go, and I can just post it in here and say, hey guys, check out my script. There we go, and I've pasted that link, and you notice that it's given it a friendly name. It's showing the actual name of the file there, even though I copied just a URL, and click post, and now everyone else can just, again, click on this link, and it's going to open within Microsoft Teams. And they can edit the file. We can also have multiple people collaborating on files at the same time. So if someone else comes in and making changes, we can all be working on the same file, which is really, really powerful. So yeah, that is the Microsoft Teams Files app. The final thing I want to show you is how to look at all of your tasks across all of your different Planner and Microsoft 365 apps in a single location. So within Microsoft Teams, we've got the Planner app here. If you don't add it, you can add it. If you don't have the Planner app, you can add it with it from the apps. But let's click on Planner, and I can see all the tasks that have been assigned to me, regardless of which Microsoft Planner location they have come from. So I'm part of the marketing team. I'm part of another project for our service desk platform. I'm part of the this YouTube project plan that we have just created. So I've got the write the script icon, write the script task here. I can click the three dots against it and click open details to bring that up. Or if I've completed it, I can just tick it off there, and that's now gone and updated it. So that's really useful if you're part of multiple teams, multiple planners, multiple projects. But also I can click on flagged emails. If I've flagged a load of emails that need actioning, I can see those from here and again tick them off once I have dealt with them. So really, really useful. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please subscribe, and please do feel free to add me on LinkedIn if you'd like to discuss a project or your business IT in more detail. Thanks for watching.